They say keep your friends close and your enemies closer. But what about when you don't know your enemy is your enemy? When you think she's a friendly visitor who needs welcoming? When you sit beside her every Sunday, share a hymnal, smile at her, ask about her week, all while she's sleeping with your husband? For 4 weeks, I sat next to my husband's mistress during Sunday service at Bethel AME Church in Charlotte, North Carolina. 4 weeks, 8 services, 16 hours of sitting shoulder to shoulder with the woman destroying my marriage. And I had no idea. I welcomed her, greeted her warmly, saved her a seat. My husband, Deacon Kevin Harris, encouraged it. Be welcoming to visitors, babe. That's what church is about. Show her Christ's love. So I did. Her name was Crystal. She'd started attending 4 weeks ago. Always sat near me. We'd chat before service. About her new job, her search for a church home, her recent move to Charlotte. She was sweet, friendly, seemed genuine. I liked her. Last Sunday, during offering, her phone buzzed in her purse. She pulled it out to silence it, and I glanced over. Just a casual glance, the way you do when someone's phone lights up next to you. The text preview on her lock screen said, "Can't wait to see you after service. Meet me at the usual place. Love you. K. Kevin. My husband." I looked from her phone to her face. She was smiling softly at the screen. Then she looked up, caught me staring, and her smile disappeared. We both knew. In that moment, sitting in the 3rd row of Bethel AME during offering while the choir sang, "I need thee every hour," we both knew that I knew. This is the story of how I sat through an entire church service next to my husband's mistress, then confronted them both in the church parking lot in front of 200 people. My name is Angela Harris, and before I tell you about the Sunday I discovered my husband's mistress was sitting beside me in church, you need to understand how I ended up in that position. I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina, born and raised in West Charlotte, historically black neighborhood. My parents, Robert and Patricia Monroe, were working class. Dad drove a bus for CATS, Charlotte Area Transit System. Mama worked at Carolina Medical Center as a nurse's aide. Education is your way up, Mama always said. Get your degree, get a good job, build something stable. I took that to heart. Graduated from West Charlotte High School, went to UNC Charlotte on partial scholarship, got my degree in accounting. Graduated at 22 with $25,000 in student loans, but a solid career path. Got a job at a mid-size accounting firm in Charlotte making $45,000. Entry level, but good benefits, room for growth. Lived with my parents for 2 years to save money and pay down debt. At 24, I met Kevin Harris at a Juneteenth celebration at Romar Bearden Park uptown. He was 26, worked in pharmaceutical sales, made decent money, around $65,000. Tall, handsome, ambitious, seemed grounded. "You're beautiful," he said, walking up to me. "Can I buy you a drink?" Direct, confident. I liked that. We dated for a year and a half. He was charming, attentive, had goals, treated me well, got along with my family. Attended church with me. Bethel AME, my family's church for 2 generations. Mama and Daddy had been members for 30 years, got married there, raised me and my brother there. Kevin wasn't super religious, but he respected my faith. Started coming to church with me regularly. Joined the new members class, got involved. After 18 months of dating, he proposed. Did it the right way? Asked my father's permission first, then surprised me at Sunday brunch with both families there. "Angela Monroe," he said, getting down on one knee. "Will you marry me and build a life with me?" I said yes. Both families celebrated. We got married at Bethel AME. Pastor Davis officiated. Beautiful ceremony. 200 guests, navy and gold colors. My best friend Tasha as maid of honor. Kevin's brother as best man. Reception at a hotel in South End. In our vows, we promised to honor God and each other, to be faithful, to build a godly home. For the first 5 years, we did exactly that. Built a life together, bought a townhouse in South Charlotte. I advanced at the accounting firm, got promoted to senior accountant, then accounting manager. Salary grew to $72,000. Kevin did well in pharma sales, got promoted to senior sales rep, making $85,000. We attended Bethel AME every Sunday. Kevin became a deacon in year 3 of our marriage. It was a big deal. Deacons at Bethel are chosen carefully, have to be recommended, voted on by the congregation, meet spiritual standards. I'm proud of you, I told him when he was installed. This is a serious commitment. I know, he said. I want to serve. I want to lead. I want to honor God and you. We were that couple. Deacon Kevin and Sister Angela. Young, successful, involved, stable. People looked at us as an example. Around year 6, I started noticing small changes. Kevin was on his phone more, texting in other rooms, working late more often. Big project, he'd say. Just have to put in extra hours. I believed him. Pharma sales was demanding. But then there were the weekends. Kevin started having work events on Saturdays. Training sessions, client dinners, team building. Every Saturday? I asked. Not every Saturday, he said. Just been a busy season. I didn't push. I trusted him. We'd been married 6 years. He was a deacon at our church. Why would I doubt him? Around month 8 of year 6, something changed at church. A new woman started attending. Her name was Crystal. I didn't know her last name. She was a visitor. Black woman, late 20s, pretty, professional looking. She'd shown up on a Sunday morning about 4 weeks before the discovery, sat a few rows behind us. After service, she introduced herself to a few people. I just moved to Charlotte for work, looking for a church home. Heard wonderful things about Bethel AME. People were welcoming. That's what we do. Church family. If you're visiting, we greet you, give you information, invite you back. The next Sunday, Crystal came back. This time, she sat closer to the front, a few rows behind Kevin and me. After service, she approached me. Hi, I'm Crystal. I was here last week. Just wanted to say I love your church. Everyone's so welcoming. Thank you, I said. I'm Angela. We're glad you're here. Are you looking for a church home? Yes, she said. I moved here from Atlanta for a new job. Haven't found a church yet. Bethel feels right. Well, we'd love to have you, I said. Let me know if you have any questions or need anything. Actually, she said, would it be okay if I sat with you next week? I don't really know anyone yet, and you seem really nice. Of course, I said. We sit in the 3rd row, right side. Join us anytime. I thought I was being welcoming, friendly, Christ-like. That night at home, I mentioned it to Kevin. A new woman named Crystal started coming to church. She's looking for a church home. Asked if she could sit with us next week. That's great, Kevin said. We should be welcoming. Help her feel at home. That's what I thought, I said. The 3rd Sunday, Crystal showed up and found me before service. Hey, Angela, mind if I sit with you? Not at all, I said. Come on. She sat on my left. Kevin was on my right. We shared a hymnal during praise and worship. She seemed genuinely into the service, singing, taking notes during the sermon, nodding along. After service, Kevin greeted her briefly. Welcome to Bethel. I'm Kevin, Angela's husband. Nice to meet you, Crystal said, smiling. Angela's been so welcoming. I really appreciate it. We're glad you're here, Kevin said. Looking back, that interaction was so casual, so normal. No weird vibes, no red flags. Just a husband greeting his wife's new church friend. The 4th Sunday, Crystal sat with us again. This time we talked before service, about her job. She worked in marketing at a tech company. Her apartment search, adjusting to Charlotte. It's been hard making friends, she said. Everyone here seems to already have their groups. But you've been really kind. Church family is important, I said. We want you to feel at home. During service, Pastor Davis preached on marriage. Ephesians 5:22-33. Wives submit to husbands. Husbands love your wives as Christ loved the church. Marriage is a covenant, Pastor Davis said. Not a contract. A covenant before God. You don't break covenants when things get hard. You honor them. You fight for them. You protect them. I felt Kevin's hand reach for mine. He squeezed. I squeezed back. Crystal was on my other side, taking notes. After service, she lingered. That sermon was powerful. Marriage is beautiful. It is. I agreed. Are you married? No, she said quickly. Not yet. Hoping to be someday. Just haven't found the right person. You will, I said. God's timing is perfect. Over the next few weeks, this became our routine. Crystal would show up Sunday morning, find me, sit beside me during service. We'd chat before and after. She seemed lonely, genuinely looking for community. I felt good about welcoming her. Kevin encouraged it. That's really kind of you to befriend her, he'd say. She seems like she needs it. She does, I'd say. She doesn't know anyone in Charlotte. Church family is important. You're doing the right thing, he'd say. Looking back, I want to scream at myself. He was encouraging me to befriend his mistress, setting up the perfect cover. My wife's church friend was actually the woman I'm sleeping with. The 5th Sunday, last Sunday, the Discovery Sunday, started like all the others. I got to church at 10:30 a.m. Service started at 11 a.m. Kevin was already there. Deacons arrived early to prepare for communion. I found my usual spot. 3rd row, right side. Saved a seat for Crystal by putting my purse on the chair to my left. At 10:50 a.m., Crystal arrived. Hey, girl, she said, smiling, sitting down beside me. How was your week? Good, I said. Busy at work. You? Same, she said. But I'm happy to be here. This is becoming my favorite part of the week. We chatted until service started. Praise and worship. The choir sang, Total Praise, We Fall Down, Order My Steps. Crystal sang along, hands raised. After worship, Pastor Davis made announcements. Then it was offering time. The choir sang, I Need Thee Every Hour, while ushers passed offering plates. Crystal's purse was on the floor between us. Her phone buzzed, loud enough that both of us heard it. She reached down, pulled out her phone to silence it. As she did, the screen lit up with a text message preview. I wasn't trying to read it, but I was sitting right next to her. The phone was between us. The text was right there on her lock screen. Can't wait to see you after service. Meet me at the usual place. Love you. K. My brain processed it in stages. First, K could be anyone. Kevin, Kyle, Kenneth, Caleb. Second, love you is pretty intimate. Boyfriend? Third, after service and usual place. Someone picking her up from church? Fourth, wait. Kevin leaves after service sometimes for errands. Says he'll meet me at home. Fifth, K. Kevin. My Kevin? I looked at Crystal. She was staring at her phone with a soft smile. Then she glanced at me and saw me looking at her phone. Her smile vanished. Her face went pale. For 3 full seconds, we just stared at each other. She knew that I saw. I knew that she knew I saw. And in that moment, everything clicked. Crystal, the new woman at church, who started coming 4 weeks ago, who I welcomed, who sat beside me every Sunday, who my husband encouraged me to befriend. K. Kevin, my husband, the deacon, who encouraged me to be nice to her, who said help her feel at home, the usual place, where they meet, after church, while I think he's running errands. 4 weeks, 8 services, 16 hours sitting beside my husband's mistress. My heart started pounding. My hands started shaking. I wanted to scream, to stand up, to confront her right there. But we were in church, during offering. The choir was singing. The ushers were passing plates. 200 people around us. I couldn't make a scene, so I did something I've never done before. I smiled at her, a cold, hard smile. And I whispered, we're going to sit here and finish this service. And then you and I are going to have a conversation. She opened her mouth, closed it, nodded slightly. I turned forward, faced the pulpit, tried to breathe. The offering plates came to our row. I dropped in my envelope, passed the plate to Crystal. She fumbled, dropped in a few bills, passed it on. Her hands were shaking too. The choir finished. Pastor Davis stood up. Church, let's prepare our hearts for the word. He preached for 40 minutes. I didn't hear a single word. I sat there, spine straight, eyes forward, mind screaming. The woman sitting beside me was sleeping with my husband. For 4 weeks I'd sat next to her, smiled at her, talked to her, welcomed her, shared a hymnal, prayed beside her. My husband encouraged it, told me to be friendly, help her feel at home. He was manipulating me, using my kindness, my Christian hospitality, to hide his affair. And she, Crystal, who seemed so sweet and lonely, was playing along, sitting beside me every Sunday, chatting with me, acting like my friend, while sleeping with my husband. The level of deception was staggering. After the sermon, Pastor Davis called for altar call. If anyone needs prayer, come forward. I wanted to go forward, wanted to fall at that altar and scream, but I couldn't move, couldn't draw attention, had to stay seated. Crystal didn't move either. We both sat frozen, side by side, not looking at each other. Finally, blessedly, Pastor Davis gave the benediction. Go in peace, serve the Lord, and may the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ be with you. Amen. The congregation responded. Service ended. People started standing, gathering belongings, greeting each other. I stood, picked up my purse, turned to Crystal. Outside, now. Angela, she started. Now, I repeated. I walked toward the exit. She followed. We walked through the lobby, past people chatting and hugging, out the front doors, into the parking lot. I stopped near my car, turned to face her. She stood a few feet away, looking terrified. How long? I asked. Angela, I'm so sorry. How long? 3 months, she whispered. 3 months, which meant it started before she showed up at Bethel. The church visits weren't about finding a church home. They were about my husband. Did he tell you to come here? I asked. She nodded. He said you wouldn't suspect anything if I was your friend. If we sat together. If you welcomed me. My vision blurred. So this whole time, 4 weeks, 8 Sundays, you sitting beside me, acting friendly, acting lonely, that was all fake. I'm sorry, she said, crying. I didn't want to hurt you. You didn't want to hurt me, I said. My voice was rising. You're sleeping with my husband. You came to my church, sat beside me, let me welcome you, acted like you needed a friend, and you didn't want to hurt me? I told Kevin it was wrong. Kevin, I said. You call him Kevin. My husband. The deacon. You call him Kevin like you know him. Like you have a right to him. People were starting to come out of the church. Noticing us. Starting to watch. Where is he? I asked. Where's Kevin? I don't know. Yes, you do, I said. The text said, meet me at the usual place. Where's the usual place? She hesitated. Then, the parking deck on Moorhead Street. 3rd level. 10 minutes from church. That's where my husband went after service when he said he was running errands. I pulled out my phone. Called Kevin. It rang 4 times. Voicemail. I called again. Voicemail. He's not answering, I said. Because he's waiting for you. At the parking deck. By now, about 20 people had gathered in the parking lot, watching us, including my mother, who'd been inside talking to someone. Angela? Mama called, walking over. What's going on? I looked at her, then at Crystal, then back at Mama. This woman, I said, loud enough for everyone to hear, is sleeping with Kevin for 3 months, and for the last 4 weeks, she's been coming to our church and sitting beside me, pretending to be my friend, while sleeping with my husband. Gasps from the people nearby. Mama's hand flew to her mouth. Crystal was sobbing. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Where is Kevin? Mama demanded. Parking deck on Moorhead, I said. 3rd level, waiting for her. Get in my car, Mama said. We're going there, now. Mama drove. I sat in the passenger seat. We didn't speak, just drove the 10 minutes to the parking deck, pulled in, drove up to the 3rd level, and there he was, my husband, Deacon Kevin Harris, still in his church clothes, the black suit and burgundy tie he'd worn while serving communion that morning. He was leaning against his car, looking at his phone, waiting. Mama parked. I got out, walked toward him. He looked up, saw me. His face went white. Angela, how long? I asked. What are you talking about? How long have you been sleeping with Crystal? I asked. The woman from church. The visitor I welcomed. The one you encouraged me to befriend. The one who's been sitting beside me every Sunday for 4 weeks. How long? He stared at me, then at Mama, who'd gotten out of the car and was standing behind me. He started. 3 months, I said. That's what she told me. 3 months. Which means you've been lying to me since March. The work events. The Saturday meetings. The errands after church. All lies. You were with her. Angela, please. And you brought her to our church, I said. Our church. Where we got married. Where your parents are members. Where you're a deacon. You brought your mistress to church and told me to be nice to her. You didn't mean what? I said. You didn't mean to sleep with her? You didn't mean to lie? You didn't mean to have her sit beside me every Sunday while I welcomed her like an idiot? I'm sorry, he said. You're sorry, I repeated. You're a deacon. You served communion this morning. You stood in front of the congregation and served the body and blood of Christ. While living in sin, while lying to everyone, while manipulating me into befriending your mistress. Mama stepped forward. Kevin, I trusted you with my daughter. Your parents trusted you to be a man of God. This church trusted you to lead. And you've betrayed all of us. Mrs. Monroe, don't, Mama said. Don't speak to me. You've destroyed your marriage. You've brought shame on your family. And you've disrespected God's house. Kevin's phone rang. He glanced at it. Crystal, she's probably wondering where you are, I said. Why you're not answering. She's probably scared that I found out. Well, I did. And now everyone's going to know. Please don't. Don't what? I said. Don't tell the church. Don't tell Pastor Davis. Don't let people know what kind of deacon you are. Think about what this will do to my reputation. Your reputation? I said. You did this to your reputation. Not me. You made the choices. You live with the consequences. I turned to Mama. Let's go. We walked back to her car, got in, drove away. Left Kevin standing in that parking deck alone. At home, I called Pastor Davis, told him everything, the affair, Crystal coming to church, sitting beside me, Kevin waiting for her at the parking deck. I'll handle this, Pastor Davis said. His voice was grave. Come to my office tomorrow morning. We need to document everything. The next morning, I met with Pastor Davis and the deacon board, told them the whole story, showed them the text I'd screenshotted from Crystal's phone. I'd asked her to show me before we left the parking lot. The deacon board was furious. This is a serious violation of trust and spiritual leadership, Deacon Matthews said. We have to act. Within 48 hours, Kevin was removed as deacon. The board called an emergency meeting, voted unanimously, sent him a letter informing him of the decision. He tried to fight it. Called me crying. Please tell them I'm sorry. Tell them I'll do better. I'll go to counseling. I'll do whatever it takes. You should have thought about that before you slept with someone and brought her to church, I said. Please, Angela, don't call me again, I said, and hung up. I filed for divorce the next week. Kevin tried to contest it. His lawyer argued we should try counseling first. My lawyer shut that down. Your client had an affair for 3 months, manipulated his wife into befriending his mistress, and brought the mistress to church every Sunday. There's no coming back from that. The divorce took 5 months. I got the townhouse, my car, and 60% of our assets. Kevin had to pay my legal fees. The church community rallied around me. Mama and Daddy surrounded me. My friends from Bethel checked on me constantly. Pastor Davis made sure I knew I was supported. Crystal never came back to Bethel. After that Sunday, she vanished. No one saw her again. I heard through mutual connections that she moved back to Atlanta within a month. Kevin eventually left Bethel too. Too much shame. Too many people who knew what he'd done. He joined a church in a different part of Charlotte where nobody knew him. That was 2 years ago. I'm 34 now, still at Bethel AME. Still in the third row, right side. Mama sits with me now. My friends surround me. I'm dating someone new. His name is Marcus. He's a teacher, goes to a different church, is honest and transparent about everything. We're taking it slow, but he's good. Kevin remarried last year. To someone else, not Crystal. I heard through the grapevine. I don't care. That chapter is closed. Crystal? I have no idea where she is. Don't care about that either. People ask me sometimes how I sat through that entire service once I knew. How I didn't stand up and scream. How I held it together. Here's the truth. I held it together because I knew I'd get my moment. I knew that causing a scene in the sanctuary wouldn't change anything, but confronting her outside, in front of witnesses, where everyone could see, that mattered. I held it together because I refused to let them steal my dignity along with my marriage. I held it together because I knew God saw everything, and he would make sure justice came. And he did. Kevin lost his position, his reputation, and his marriage. Crystal lost whatever fantasy she had. I lost a lying husband, which wasn't a loss at all. 2 years later, I'm still standing. Still at my church. Still surrounded by family. Still whole. The woman who sat beside me during Sunday service was sleeping with my husband. For 4 weeks, I welcomed her. For 4 weeks, I sat shoulder to shoulder with my enemy and thought she was my friend. But God revealed the truth. In his timing. In his way. During offering. In church. When neither of us could hide. Some people say church is where you should feel safest. Where deception shouldn't reach. But sin doesn't respect sacred spaces. People bring their darkness everywhere. Even into the sanctuary. The question isn't whether darkness will try to enter. The question is, what do you do when it's exposed? You stand. You confront. You trust God. And you hold your head high, because the woman sitting beside you might be your enemy. But God is always on his throne. And he will always bring hidden things to light. Every single time. If this story made you rethink who sits beside you at church, subscribe for more true stories about Black women who confronted betrayal with dignity. Hit like if you've ever had that moment where everything suddenly made sense. Comment. Have you ever welcomed someone who turned out to be an enemy? How did you find out? Thank you for watching. And remember, God exposes what's hidden. Trust his timing. See you in the next story.